Hey everybody, it's Sugar Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we're going to be continuing our series on 380 ACP testing. We're going to be especially looking at the Bodyguard 2.0, which is a new offering from Smith & Wesson, and looking at the Speer Gold Dot jacketed hollow point. Should be a fun time. Let's get to shooting. Okay, what do we exactly have on tap for today? So today we're looking at this bonded jacketed hollow point Gold Dot from Speer. It's a fantastic offering. It's used by law enforcement. It's been used in 45 ACP, 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson. It just has a fantastic reputation with law enforcement and other types who take their self-defense seriously. Today we're going to be testing it out in 380 ACP. Does it perform? Does it get deep enough penetration? Does it get the expansion that we're hoping and expecting for something like this? And is it a good all-around self-defense round? So we're going to be testing, and the new thing, there's lots of channels that have tested this, but we're going to be testing it out of the Bodyguard 2.0. For comparison reasons, with a little bit longer, about an inch longer barrel, we're going to be taking a look at the Beretta Cheetah 80X and how this round performs in both of these. Should be a fun time today. We're going to be testing in gel, we're going to be testing for velocities, and we're going to be testing for accuracy. Let's get to shooting. Okay, well we have our Bodyguard 2.0 with a Speer Gold Dot 90 grain projectile. We have our Garmin Xero set up. I'm not so sure it's going to catch it. It needs 16 yards. We're at about 7 or 8 yards right here. We'll see if we catch it. But most importantly, I want to get this in the gel block. I think we got it. And we got 959.6, so it caught it. Okay, let's take a look at the Speer Gold Dot. It came in over here at the left, got immediately great expansion. I think it did very well in this gel. We see the bullet at about 8 inches, and it got fairly decent expansion. We see down to maybe it got reached to almost 12 inches. It's pretty close to 12 inches. Let's be generous and call it 12 inches. It did create permanent wound track. We saw it decent, I'm guessing because I haven't looked at the slow-mo yet, but we saw decent temporary, but it has okay permanent. Yes, the bullet is in there sideways, but that happens almost with all bullets. So let's take a quick look at the top. And at the top, you have to deal with shaky hands. Bullet came in over here, decent traction, and we have a pretty good projectile in there. I'll dig it out later and we'll take a look. All right, we have the Beretta Cheetah 80X. We have the 90 grain Speer Gold Dot. Let's see what we can do. Oh, got it in the middle, that's fine. Okay, well, let's take a look at this bullet out of the little bit longer barrel from the Beretta Cheetah. And we see that it enters in here, again, gets expansion, probably bigger permanent wound cavity, that just meaning that disruption in the gel is a little bit thicker and a little bit wider. And look, the bullet's here sitting at a generous 4.5 inches. That's actually terrible. And then it did get temporary and there's some permanent wounding out to 9.5 and then bounced all the way back because the bullet has so little energy. Look how far back it's bounced back even more than the Bodyguard 2.0 did. Surely this is much bigger. So in those first 2 or 3 inches, you get very nice expansion and maybe some damage that's going on. But is that enough penetration to get to vital? Who knows if this is enough? That's the point. Simulation of a simulation of a simulation. That may not be enough. That worries me. Then, second point, I have so many people in my comments say, you didn't try it with denim. You need 4 layers of denim. These bullets might not even go that far if you had denim in there. No, they'll go even further. Look at all the other people's tests on YouTube. I'm not the only channel that just gel. There are much better channels than mine. I'd like to contend I have something to add to it, but you can go look at their gel shots. They do get, when they have gel, they often get deeper penetration. Why? Because the hollow point gets plugged up. So at a worst case, these bullets get much deeper penetration. That may actually be the best case for these rounds. You may want that best case. You may not want these plugging up. But in this gel, in this right here, that's not enough. This is actually the worst case, is full hollow point expansion out of that Beretta. This is why I think it's important to do gel tests, understand what you're shooting in your handgun. I'm sure that these are all made for different types of guns, and there's a reason for it. And who knows, out of FBI gel, I hear that sometimes these bullets don't expand as much. And then I've heard others, they expand more. So I don't know. You do you. We're doing this for comparison. Bodyguard 2.0, Kimber Micro, or not Kimber. We're not doing the Kimber today. Beretta Cheetah 80X. That's pretty impressive to me. All right, let's just take a look at the two of these Speer Gold Dot bullets. We have the one from the Bodyguard, which isn't quite as, and then the one from the Beretta. It's probably, and it didn't get nearly as far a penetration because it expanded so much. We'll take these back and measure them. Just wanted to get a quick look for them right now. Okay, well, we have 5 rounds of the Speer Gold Dot. We have our Garmin Xero C1 to measure velocities and kinetic energy out of it. This will help us see how consistently this ammunition is loaded. 5 rounds is not statistically significant, but it gives you an idea of what the velocities coming out of this gun are. 996, 962, 941, 947, and 944. We had a min of 941, an average of 958, and a max of 996. That Speer Gold Dot is loaded pretty good. That's on the upper end of some of the jacketed hollow points that are not plus P that we have seen. Had an average kinetic energy of 183. That's not super amazing, but it's not bad either. Okay, well, I have 5 shots with the Beretta. We'll see how it does with the Garmin radar telling us what velocities. I already have a few more shots in here from this Beretta and from these Speer Gold Dots, so we'll just add a few more to make it a little bit more statistically significant. $10.79, I keep forgetting. $10.60. In 1041. It recorded 10 shots. I shot too fast. I get a little excited. So we are at over 1,000 feet per second with this. Let's just take a quick look and see what our session summary will be on this. So for our min was a 1041, our average was 1057, and our max was 1079.3. That's pretty good for, again, 380 ACP. When we take a look at the average kinetic energy, it's 223. Again, we're not in the 9mm round range, but it's not bad out of these 2 handguns. All right, well, we have the Bodyguard, we have the Speer Gold Dot. Let's see how we do with accuracy. Not bad, not great considering we're only at 5 yards, but yeah. Let's keep shooting. All right, well, we've got 5 rounds. And again, we're not shooting for extreme precision. We're not 25 yards. We're not bench rested, blah, blah, blah. Trying to see how these rounds will do at 5 yards at defense distances so that if we have to shoot this, how far off does it move from where our guns are zeroed at? That type of thing. That's what I talk about when we're talking about accuracy. And then, yes, it has to do with how I'm shooting in any given day. Now we got the Beretta, we got the Speer Gold Dot. Let's see how we do with a red dot. Well, it's very accurate, but you can tell that it's different than the Xero that I have, so you got to make sure that you zero your gun. Okay, let's just try and finish things up here. So what we saw that we got not as good penetration as I would like with this Speer Gold Dot in the bare naked gel, which means we're going to get our maximum expansion. And with that, for me, and for what I believe to be accurate, I think that the penetration in this clear ballistic gel needs to get over 12 to 13 inches. I have seen one test, a single test, that shows that organic gel and clear ballistic gel do correlate in a way that the clear ballistic gel is getting shorter, especially in the 380 round. And when it compared it to other rounds, it actually is a little bit more similar, but in the 380 round, you're almost getting 40% less. Now, other people that I have shared this information with, some of the other viewers, they disagree with some of my takeaways on this, but I think it calls it into question enough for me to say that I would like to get a little bit more penetration. Could these gels be out of spec? They could be, but I tend to believe that since this is a more plasticky type of gel, that the variation between one gel block to the next is going to be different than the organic gelatin. So with that said, that's why I would like to see more penetration. What was interesting to me was when we had 0.05 more hollow point expansion. It must have just happened more rapidly in the Beretta. We got even less penetration. We only got trail marks and cut marks out to 9 inches. In full disclosure, between this time and previous times that I've shot the videos, I have polished the feed ramps with a Dremel, with a polishing brush, and with some Flitz polishing type substance. And with that, I made the feed ramps a little bit more shiny, a little bit more smooth, allowing the feeding a little bit better. But of note, the Speer Gold Dot was a good round for the Beretta in that it cycled the entire time, which is positive because we had many hollow points that this Beretta would not cycle. So I think that that is a positive. And there's some videos hinting at there's some foreboding here that the polishing of the feed ramp didn't fix the Beretta, but it did for the Speer Gold Dot. So if you're using this Beretta, you're looking for a hollow point round to use, I think this one could be one. Another interesting case is that with only 0.05 of a expansion more, the Bodyguard 2.0 did get deeper penetration with slightly less expansion. Could it be the hollow point? Could it also be that increased angular momentum by a higher twist rate in the barrel than the Beretta? I think that that's something at least to consider with this test that we see here today. Also, again, I mentioned it in the video. I'm just going to rehash it on here now, or earlier on in the video. I'm just going to rehash it here. In some other of these gel tests that I saw, that bounce back is actually, you saw it went out to 12 inches and then bounced back to 9 with the Bodyguard, went out to 9 inches and bounced back to 6 or whatever with the Beretta. So that bounce back in what I've seen in comparison tests with 380 ACP is more in line with where the actual penetration and permanent wound track gets in organic gel. I don't think it's an exact science. I'm just saying that this thing is probably getting, somewhere around 6 inches, 8 inches of penetration. I think 8 inches is probably okay for 380 type self-defense situations. If you're taking shots at 40 yards with your 380 and expecting to get someone who's sideways or is shooting up, something and running away from you or at an angle, you're probably not going to take them out with a 380 anyways. Let's just be honest right here. So most of your 380 type encounters should be up close, personal, within just a few feet, facing each other. Could you turn? Could the person be turning and doing something like this when they're getting ready to hit you or stab you or something? Absolutely they can, right? And so that's why I want to get a little bit deeper penetration on this 380 handgun than some of the rounds that we have been seeing. Okay, that's a lot. Not sure how much I'm going to keep in this video. I sure hope this was instructive. Please put it in the comments below. Do you like the Speer Gold Dot? Is that something that you would carry in your handgun for personal defense? I think it's a fine round. I think especially for the Bodyguard 2.0. I think for the Beretta, because we've had so many cycling issues with other rounds, I think that's also a fine round to use. Let me know what you guys think. Please put it in the comments below. I hope everyone has a great week, and let's get shooting.